progress.
Welcome, friends, newcomers, old-timers, seekers, and skeptics. We come together this Sunday to celebrate a new church year. We are a community where love is not merely spoken, but lived. At the beginning of this new season, we celebrate our water ceremony, merging together the various streams of our lives. Whether or not you brought some water from your summer experiences today, everyone will be invited to come forward and pour some water into our common bowl and join the ongoing flow of our lives at the end of our service. Personally, I love water. I always have. I learned to swim at the age of 2. I grew up spending my days in a community pool and would swim whenever I got the chance. Water was always a summer essential. When we didn't have a pool to swim in, we had a slip and slide or water balloons. I would plead for the grown-ups to take us to the beach. I didn't care if I got tumbled in the waves. I just caught my breath and got right back in. Life itself was born in those same waters some 3.7 billion years ago. And in fact, the vast majority of all life forms continue to be composed predominantly of water. Plants, animals, fish, bacteria, humans. Water serves as the medium to dissolve nutrients, minerals, and chemicals, and then to be distributed to all parts of our bodies, transported by our blood, which of course is also largely water. Water fills our cells and helps them hold their structure. Water helps us regulate our temperature, which we certainly need today, and metabolize our food, flush waste from our bodies, and lubricate our joints and tissues. We interact with water dozens of times every day. No wonder they're always telling us to keep hydrated. The list highlights water's functionality and vital necessity, but the ancients discerned its sacredness before science could enumerate its multiple functions. The Celts honored the spirit of the wells and springs. Archaeologists often find valuable items at the bottom of such places, and they say that these are places where people went to pray, to worship, and to seek healing. And they believe that these items were offerings to the spirits of the water. Legends and fairy tales depict the water of life, that if you drink that water, you will never thirst again. Water that will give you eternal youth, and the maidens or goddesses within the water might offer up a magical sword. Water holds a mystic place in our psyches. Water is the symbol for life, for transformation, for our emotional lives. Psychologist Carl Jung likened it to our collective unconscious, comparing the universal mind to the vast, hidden, and mysterious depths of the ocean. Religiously, water is connected to cleansing and rebirth, as in baptisms, and Islamic and Hindu practices of washing to purify the body and soul before prayer. Author, educator, and activist Parker Palmer pointed to some wisdom from the Taoist master Lao Tzu, who names a few of the virtues that come from living the water-course way. We serve the common good, make life worth living, and help keep hope alive. Here are Lao Tzu's words. The best, like water, benefit all and do not compete. They dwell in lowly spots that everyone else scorns. putting others before themselves. They find themselves in the foremost place and come very near to the Tao. In their dwelling, they love the earth. In their heart, they love what is deep. In personal relationships, they love kindness. In their words, they love truth. In the world, they love peace. In personal affairs, they love what is right. In action, they love choosing the right time. It is because they do not compete with others that they are beyond reproach in the world. So let me tell you a few water stories. Josephine Mondawmin was a member of the Canadian Wikwi-Wikong First Nation, whose name means the one who comes with light. For her people, water is essential to Mother Earth, and it is the responsibility of the grandmothers to lead other women in praying to protect the water. Every morning she would pray, saying, "For the life you give to every living thing on earth, I love you, I respect you." Josephine could see that the lakes and the rivers across what her people call Turtle Island and what we call North America were being polluted, wasted, and made unfit for life. Then in the year 2000, she received a prophecy from an elder that warned her that water will cost as much as gold by the year 2030. The elder then asked her what she was going to do about it. Grandmother Josephine took up the challenge. Gathering her female family and friends around her, they began walking around the Great Lakes. She had started a movement that became known as the Water Walkers. Each walker carried a pail full of water with them, and they eventually walked around every one of the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. They walked every year for 7 years, covering 25,000 kilometers or 17,000 miles. Josephine Mondawmin died in 2019, still challenging us to take responsibility, to do our part to care for the water. Her legacy continues today as other women have taken up leadership, bringing attention to threatened bodies of water, not with protest signs and shouting slogans, but by peacefully honoring the water. They want to be clear that they are not expressing hatred for anyone. Instead, through a spiritual and ceremonial process, they work to educate us about their love for water, the sacred nature of water, and our need to honor and protect it. The Water Walkers movement has received a lot of press over the years. Would that more people would heed the call of Grandmother Josephine to love and protect the water. Water, we thank you. Water, we love you. Water, we respect you. In 2017, New Zealand's Maori people won personhood for the Wanganui River, granting the river the same legal rights as a person. To be clear, not a human person, but it is a legal person. They confer to it, quote, all rights, powers, duties, and liabilities of an individual, end quote. The Maori see the water as a living entity that carries forward their ancestors and their memories, serving as a metaphor for their history. They are people of the water, of the river. Generations of Maori looked on as their river of sacred power, Awatupalu in their language, was treated as a commodity or worse, as a dumping ground. Their worldview, seeing nature as sacred, collided with the Western culture of extraction, a belief that the earth is not a living being, but a resource to be exploited. The Maori see the river as both physical and spiritual. Personhood was as close as they could come to putting that idea into words that both Indigenous and Western people could understand. With its new status, the river will have 2 human representatives, one nominated by the government and one by the Maori. Their role will be to ensure the river's rights are protected. This agreement settles claims that had been brought against the government for more than 100 years. Of course, it's complicated, and people are going to have to live into what it means. A lot of questions come up. Could the river sue for its own restoration? Could the river itself be sued for flooding and destroying people's homes? Is this personhood idea a crazy one? Well, is it any crazier than the idea that corporations have personhood? Water, we thank you. Water, we love you. Water, we respect you. I was surprised to learn that several other places here and around the world have granted legal personhood to rivers. In the United States, the Klamath River has that status here in California under the Yurok tribal law. Similarly, part of the Snohomish River watershed in the state of Washington, the Magpie River in Quebec, Canada, the Turag River in Bangladesh, and the Ganges and Yamuna rivers in India. Some tribes and governments in Mexico have won legal rights for water. In South America, Colombia has granted legal rights to the Amazon River ecosystem. Even more remarkably, in Panama, the government recognizes the rights of nature itself. And in Ecuador, nature's rights are written into the Constitution. Brazil's city of Linares granted legal rights to the waves at the mouth of the Dulce River. In David Fried's documentary, The River Is Me, he asks the former Attorney General of New Zealand, Chris Finlayson, and Maori negotiator Gerard Albert, who worked out the agreement together, if the river attains personhood, then what about the rain, about the watershed, the built environment? Could that also be included in this concept of personhood? What astonished me was that Attorney General Finlayson said, yes, yes. It and we are all interconnected. An ancient Maori proverb reads, I am the river, and the river is me. Water, we thank you. Water, we love you. Water, we respect you. So how does something go from being important and clearly not only valuable, but vital to life, to something sacred? All the peoples of the world once did, and of course some still do, consider water sacred. As indigenous cultures around the world tell us, the people and the land had a reciprocal relationship. It's the difference between being a natural resource and being a member of the family. As relatives, we take care of each other because we depend upon each other. Many natural features were once considered homes of the deities. In Bhutan, for instance, Mount Jolomakari is revered as a mother of the goddess, the mountain of the goddess. They hold it and other mountains, like Ganghar Wensum, the highest unclimbed mountain in the world, with such reverence that people are forbidden to climb the mountain, even today. In the West, notably in England, starting in the 15th century, the enclosure movement privatized vast areas of communal land, including the water that ran through it. This is the time when ballads and legends of Robin Hood became popular, to the point that it was said that people would rather listen to tales and songs of Robin Hood than attend the Mass. You can believe it. Of course, during the colonial period, the Europeans exported this idea around the world. And this mindset, this cultural shift, only increased during the 18th and 19th centuries with the Industrial Revolution. That's when resources like coal, iron, and timber were commodified on a mass scale. Karl Marx identified this shift as intrinsically linked with capitalism. And it escalated once again in the 1980s, including the commodification of water, when bottled water in plastic containers became fashionable, healthy, and sophisticated. Well, we certainly have given this extractive way of life a good shot, haven't we? The results are in. Yes, the crisis is all around us, and it's quite clear where this approach is taking us, into a dystopian future that none of us want to inhabit or pass on to our children or grandchildren. Water, we thank you. Water, we love you. Water, we respect you. When we move from separation to connection, we can be inspired to change the way we think about our world. Then we can move from the idea of natural resources to the concept of family, of seeing the world around us as filled with all our relations. I have to admit that in writing this sermon and thinking about these issues, I recognize that it's not an easy shift to make. It's a radical shift. It's a mental revolution. Even as I wrote, I kept reaching for the word resources. We've been well trained, to the point that it's actually challenging to view ourselves in a reciprocal relationship, a truly interdependent relationship with the living things and beings that we call the earth and the universe. But as I wrote, I realized that if we can move into cherishing the living world and being in awe of it, I will move deeper into my own heart, and at that moment can help me make life-affirming decisions and live life sacredly with every step I take. If we transform something from a resource we take for granted to a sacred gift from the earth, we need to consciously imbue it with meaning. We will need to shift our consciousness, and we can employ ritual and intentional practices to elevate our moments, to raise them above the ordinary. And that is part of the reason why we hold our annual water communion service, to help us retrain our minds, to emphasize the sacred connection in this sacred moment. Water communion can deeply connect us with each other as we join our separate waters together into a common bowl. It can symbolize our lives coming together here today in this same place. As Unitarian Universalists, it represents how our many diverse beliefs merge together into one loving community, while reinforcing our UU values and principles, the respect for the interdependent web of all existence. This ceremony also connects us to Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world who typically hold water communion at the beginning of each church year, as we are today. So let's join together in sharing our water and its meaning in our lives. I'd like everyone to come forward. Everyone is welcome to join in, visitors, friends, members alike. Whether you've brought water or you want to use the water we have provided up here, come forward and join the line. Tell us your name, the source of your water, and briefly what it represents for you. As I said, we will go out to nourish our living plants.